Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Liberal White Dudes. I am Andrew.
I'm Jared.
I'm AJ.
And we are Liberal White Dudes. Tonight's episode is called Offensive Sayings. But first, let's chat a little bit about some of the news that's happened in the last 2 weeks since you last, watched our show. I'd like to lead off with the mass shootings that have happened between our last show and this one. I could just leave it at that, and then whenever you watch this show, you can think back on whichever mass shootings just happened. I think we've let off our show that way a couple of times already.
Since our inception.
Since the inception of this show, we just say about that latest mass shooting where the government still did not step in and add any gun control, where people show a bunch of outrage, and in some cases faux outrage, and then they talk about how it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people, and how there was no way to have prevented this.
The biggest counter line that I've ever heard to that whole guns don't kill people kill people kill people, and it's like, yeah, but you're gonna give that bad person, if this is a bad person, right, which is what the thing is, the gun is not bad, the person is bad, why are we giving that bad person a gun?
I mean, I saw a Twitter thread about the Colorado shooting, and they were like, how did that guy even get a gun license? Because they were from a different country. They had no idea that that's not a thing here. That's not a thing. You don't need a gun license. You don't need
same day
other than
formal training or
American hands. Then put them on a gun.
And a couple of dollars, and that's it.
So mass shootings in Atlanta, a bunch of massage parlors shot up, and then mass shooting in Colorado, grocery store, bunch of folks shot and killed.
A lot of thoughts and prayers, but certainly no action to take the guns out of the hands of dangerous people. Definitely not that.
Definitely not that.
Definitely a lot of thoughts and prayers. Definitely no gun reform. Definitely no gun reform.
I kind of want to hit on if we're here, right? Already here. One of the things they talked about, there's a group of guys that came to my high school a couple years ago and did a presentation about violence and stuff, and how community action and mental health facilities that are available to communities, and having public leaders who are part of the community that they're from and reaching out to people that they know and basically sort of organizing events that way. That sort of community organizing can be really helpful in lowering overall violence in areas. Just educating people on stuff and getting people together and talking about what they got going on. If you for some reason are super interested in having a gun still or not having regulations on it, we can also work on this as a thing. If you're interested in stopping violence, go out there and be a community organizer. Go do that if that's your bag.
I mean, again, I say this every time, and it's been too many times to count, but gotta do something. Something needs to be done to stop. First off, just the number of people that have guns. I mean, I read a thing today about how they have permits for blind people to have guns in Iowa. I don't understand.
It seems safe.
Just regular people having guns with no training and no, regulation.
I just don't understand how the argument doesn't work if you were just excuse me, why aren't we issuing a driver's license to that blind person? And they'd be like, well, I think it's obvious. It's it should be. But you issued a gun permit to that blind person. So can you explain that?
and cars aren't meant to kill people. They do kill a lot of folks.
Right.
That's not their express function,
Yeah, but it's not what they're for.
Kind of like your heart.
It
does kill a lot of folks, but that's not what it's for.
That's not what it's for. Next thing I had on my list here, Georgia voter suppression.
Basically Jim Crow 2021.
Woohoo!
Passing a lot of laws in Georgia to make it harder for people of color to vote. To make it,
that's all it is.
More likely that they won't. I mean, it's all power grab to change how voting works in Georgia. And then there's even some parts of those laws that are just like common sense terrible. Like you're not allowed to distribute food and water to people in line to vote.
Yeah, like what that on its own.
Now.
That on its own should be like a federally mandated thing, honestly. Like if you're gonna hold a voting booth, there should be like dudes there handing out water, because like there's not like that, like that's just, you're there forever
in the first place. First off, there shouldn't be the kind of lines that there are in places like Georgia. They should be more polling places, not less, especially in highly populated areas. More polling places, and then good directions.
Absentee ballots,
and the day off of work, and everyone should have the right to vote. Everyone should vote. Everyone should be afforded the opportunity to vote.
Bernie Sanders has proposed it several times. National holiday. Election day should be a national holiday. If everyone gets off for fucking 4th of July, everyone should be off for Election Day. Election Day, no one should. It should be a national holiday.
And we should all pat ourselves on the back for being patriotic and American and
and we can do the whole outdoor grills thing you do on 4th of July. It's just like the 4th of July, but in November. Like, there you go. We already have a culture for that. Just there you go. Yeah. Copy paste later in the year.
If you want to bust out those American flag shorts, drink a few, some Coors Light and say racist stuff, you can still do that on Election Day as long as everyone gets to vote.
Yeah. Sparklers, fireworks, whatever the hell, but
everyone should
have the opportunity and access to vote, and then it should be a easy, straightforward thing to do. Even more of an opt-out than an opt-in type thing.
So these the new laws, it's so blatantly racist, it's pathetic. I mean, it's one of those moves that it's just like, well, they basically like lifted the curtain. They're like, okay, we're gonna get really blatantly racist here, guys.
We were subtly racist leading up to the 2020 elections. That didn't work. We lost.
We straight up racist.
We went blue for the president. So we got to go.
Their action committee meetings have to straight up be like, we need Black people to not vote. That's what we're doing here. How do we stop Black people from voting? That's what they're doing.
That's got to be the agenda item. That's the whole.
That's the
one item.
The clipboard. It just is like big. You have to turn it sideways because the text is so big. You can't fit it on a piece of paper regularly. It just makes me wonder, like, for people that support the regular folks that support those laws, like you can't talk them out. Like you can't be like, wait, it's racist, because they're gonna be like,
I'd love to hear one person defend the don't bring a bottle of water to someone in line. Give me that reason. Come on.
What?
I mean,
for whom?
They bank on the fact that they have distributed polling places so poorly, and especially in highly populated areas, that there will be long lines. And there will be people who are thirsty.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean rationalize it. I don't mean rationalize it to me like.
I want to hear I want to hear their side. I want them to be like, okay, but why can't we bring bottles of water to people in line? Like, what? Why is that law in there?
A thirsty voter is a more educated voter.
The argument. I don't know. I really want to know the argument. If anybody knows it, reach out to me and tell me.
They've done studies where a hydrated person votes Democrat.
And unhydrated people
votes
Republicans. So we just
make
those calls.
That could be it.
4 and 5 dehydrated people vote Republican.
They've got their like weird demographics set up like that. How hydrated are you?
They're playing Moneyball at this point. They're like, whatever's going to work.
The last thing on the news portion of the show that I have is shrimp tails and the cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jensen Karp. I was following this from like tweet 1, and it's phenomenal.
I missed this Twitter nonsense. What?
Okay, this sort of blew up in Twitter and then moved into the mainstream media because the story has legs, as they say. Dude claims to have found shrimp tails, the part you discard after eating the delicious part of a shrimp. In his cinnamon toast crunch.
Dude is a B-lister, by the way, too. So it's not like random Joe from the middle of Iowa somewhere.
Right.
Jensen Karp is a famous DJ from LA. He's a former rapper. He's married to Danielle Fishel, who played Topanga on Boy Meets World. So he has kind of like a B-list celebrity sort of status. He runs Gallery 1988 in Hollywood. So I only say that because
his biggest
it's like
credit. His biggest credit is he's the guy who found shrimp tails in his cinnamon toast.
He did. I'm just saying.
That's how he's known from now on forever.
Yeah, he's also a guy outside of.
He's credible. I'm just saying he's like a credible person. It's not like someone trying to get famous. Like he's already a credible individual, and he's like, I'm not making this up. Yeah. They're telling me that the shrimp tails couldn't have been in the cereal, and I'm like, they're covered in sugar.
Yeah, he's not
like baked on sugar.
Who seems like he's scrounging for a free box or two of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Right.
But I don't leave it out of the realm of possibility that he might have wanted some notoriety. And this seemed like a way to get it. I don't know. Yeah. So if you haven't heard about it and want to read up on it, it's out there in the mainstream media. But he allegedly.
There's a lot of players. Shrimp. Costco could be involved. They don't really know if it's Costco or.
They don't know if it was in the factory or later. Trying to hunt it down. He's been a little cagey about giving the evidence away, which makes sense.
He doesn't want it destroyed.
Yeah, because if you give it away,
all of the things that you found, and we'll tell you what happened. And he's
right.
Like, well, I mean, no.
Well, the original correspondence was that it was sugar, and he was like, "I'm going to send you pictures of these shrimp tails because they're not sugar." Yeah. And then they're like, "Well, that didn't happen." At our factory, that had to happen like later. And he's like, but there's cinnamon sugar baked onto the shrimp tail. Like, did someone else put baked cinnamon sugar shrimp tails in here later? Or they were in there when these were baked? Like, that's,
yeah.
There's a lot of smoking guns and I don't know.
A lot of nonsense.
He said, she said.
Many layers.
Read up on it, but the whole story, all it made me want to do was have some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So when they talk about no publicity is bad publicity, like
agreed.
I feel like I want some more Cinnamon Toast Crunch right
now.
So.
And I'm not completely out on the idea of cinnamon sugar dusted shrimps. I'll give it a try once.
Yeah.
I love
that was
shrimps.
Offered to me.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I've had coconut shrimp, and orange marmalade. So that's kind of a sweet thing on shrimp, right? Cinnamon sugar shrimp.
I wouldn't rule that out. I'd give that
I don't think I agree, but
on pizza.
count that as a point of contention.
Cinnamon sugar shrimp on pizza. And Cinnamon Toast Crunch as the crust. I'm doing this.
I guess.
Swap over to our other channel where I cook gross things.
Cook gross things.
Cook
stoner food.
Liberal white cook. It's LWC, liberal white cooks. We're just over there.
Right. All right. Now on to our main program. For those of you who pushed the link down there in the description that jumps you right to this part, you missed some great stuff.
You did.
Just pause to let that sink in.
Yeah. That was the period of time where you're supposed to click back in the video if you didn't already. That's what that's for. Is to go watch those bits again. Just you're welcome. That's a gift.
All right. Offensive sayings. The way this is going to work is I will read a saying to my co-hosts. My co-host will be using name as your buzzer, as in Jared will say Jared to buzz in. AJ will say AJ to buzz in. And then they will tell us what that saying means in the general sense. And then whether or not they think it is offensive or comes from an offensive place. Here we go. You guys ready?
I'm feeling competitive. I'm in my jersey. Let's do it.
All right. First phrase. Long time no see.
AJ. Certainly not offensive. Simply just means it's been a long time since I've seen you.
Jared, your vote?
Not offensive.
Turns out that's racist. There are here we go. There are two credible theories as to where this phrase originated, and both could very well be true. One is that members of the British and American navies picked up the phrase in their encounters with Chinese people speaking pidgin English. The other theory says long time no see came from Native Americans speaking English as chronicled in some old Western novels. Either way, the phrase can be seen as mimicking non-native English speakers' attempts to speak English.
Oh my God.
Wow, I can totally see that.
The same goes for another common racist phrase, no can do.
Okay. Wow. Because I always thought those were simply created out of laziness.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna say because believe me, because I'm a nicknamer. I shorten everything. Mm-hmm. So in my view, it would have been something where they're like, we just want to get this phrase across with as little words as possible because I'm lazy. So, wow, I did not know that. That's incredible.
All right.
I don't really use either of those phrases very often, but I
say
certainly
long time
won't now.
No see all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, man, long time no see. You know.
I think I have thrown that around,
idea.
Yeah, it's so
wow.
Yeah, the etymology of that is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because like I mean I'm familiar with that. Like talking to people who don't speak English quite that well. And you don't like.
Wow.
I don't like take on their clips, but.
What was the other one that also is?
No can do.
No can.
No can do. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. Okay.
All right. No points, I guess.
No can do.
I wore no points, and may God have mercy on me.
Very next one is not no can do. Okay.
Yeah.
Gypped.
Jared.
Jared.
That means you're getting slighted, or you're getting less than. Like you're being overcharged. It's like being cheap. Like someone is cheap, and then they take more money than you think something was worth. You're getting gypped.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds offensive. Just if I'm thinking about it.
I vote that it is.
But I don't think it. I don't.
And how, AJ?
Is it not a? I always was told it was a reference to gypsies, and as a culture, and saying that they're sneaky, they're cheating you. So you're gypping me like they would gyp you.
It comes from the word gypsy, which is a derogatory name for the Romani people.
Romani, yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, I stopped using that a while ago because I learned that not too long ago.
I didn't know why it was racist or whatever, but I was certain that after you said it, I was like,
all of these are now going to sound racist.
Yeah,
I just put that long time no see thing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that my brain is in that place, dude, I'm gonna just hear everything that way. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, you opened up.
Can you say that out loud?
That was a solid opener because I had no idea that had a racist history. So
all right,
that's crazy.
Off the reservation.
AJ.
AJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's racist. I think I would say it is. And I've heard it used when something is like off the reservation, kind of like maybe off the edge of the map, in a way, like it's a little bit out of the ordinary. Could be even considered like crazy, like they're kind of like off the reservation, like they've kind of gone crazy, gone out of control.
Exactly right.
My vote is yes, it is racist.
and how?
Or offensive, rather. My guess is because of my guess is that it's probably in reference to people that like aren't from that are native folks that are.
I would say it's a reference to Native American reservations that they're forced to live on.
Reservation is used in government correspondence to report on whether Native Americans were complying with orders to stay within their designated living areas. Yeah. So it's racist. So, people say so and so's gone off the reservation, meaning that they either they've
gone MIA.
In some cases they're crazy, or they've gone outside the box.
Either way, it's racist as fuck.
Either way, it's offensive to Native Americans.
Offensive for sure.
All right, next phrase: thrown under the bus.
I mean, Jared. I know what that means.
What does it mean?
It means like you're basically shifting the blame to somebody else. You're giving someone else the brunt of whatever it is, right? Make someone else at fault for them. You're throwing them under the bus. I don't know if it's racist.
I mean, I agree with what it means, but I don't know if it's racist.
I don't think it is.
I don't know. I mean, if I had to say whether or not, I would say it's not racist.
It is not racist.
Okay, because we've had so many.
It seems possibly the expression "throw, push, shove someone under the bus" comes from Britain in the late 1970s or early 1980s, popular in both sports and politics. But it means what you said it means, and not offensive in any way. So you can continue to use "thrown under the bus."
Good.
Nice.
I like that one.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I was really afraid you were going to come out with like. Go
ahead. What did you say?
Oh, peanut gallery.
AJ.
Go.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I know what it means, and the peanut gallery is like a reference to a group of people, or even just singular persons that you're not interested in their opinion. So essentially, their opinion does not matter. So if we were deciding where we wanted to go, and my 6-year-old was like, I want to go to Denny's, it's like, well, I don't need to hear from the peanut gallery because you're not paying. Yeah. So no one cares what you think, would be how that would be used.
Correct.
Yeah. I would say it's not racist. I thought it was just a reference to like cinemas. Or something like that.
I also don't think it's racist, but it totally could be.
Could be.
In the 19th century vaudeville era, the peanut gallery was the cheapest section of seats with the worst view. Peanuts were sold at these shows, and sometimes people seated in the cheaper seats would throw peanuts at unpopular performers. Often, the peanut gallery was largely occupied by black theater goers. Okay. If the term isn't racist, it's classist at the very least.
Okay.
So I have this one marked as racist/classist.
Yeah.
Mostly classist.
And I can see that. Classism. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Hip hip hooray.
Jared? It's like an exclamation of excitement, right?
Yeah, accurate.
Right, I would agree. Yeah.
I don't think it's racist. I guess I could be convinced otherwise, but
I can't wait. I can't wait for him to be like, actually, four people of color were beaten, like, and the assailant shouted.
Much worse, actually.
Like, oh, God.
Is it much worse?
much worse.
Oh no.
So this one's disputed. There's been some back and forth in academia as to whether or not the true anti-Semitism related to this phrase is true or not. But the history of the term is a bit muddled, and it's thought to have derived from an anti-Semitic chant. The word is chant. I said tramp.
You did say tramp.
I didn't know an anti-Semitic tramp.
Yeah.
So she popped into my head as I was reading this.
Must have.
Anti-Semitic chant, hep hep. This was the rallying cry to attack Jewish people in and around the German Confederacy in 1819 during what came to be known as the Hep Hep riots. At some point, Hep Hep became Hip Hip, and then Hooray was added to the end. So that is some people's version of the history of this particular phrase. It is
Nazism.
Disputed, though.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think, and I'm being serious, I definitely used hooray, but I don't think I've actually ever uttered the phrase hip hip hooray in any capacity.
Hooray!
Hip,
hooray!
It's just so,
I'm not
rare.
anti-Jews. As a side note.
Hooray.
I don't think I've ever been, I just don't think I've ever been in on one. Like, I've never been invited to hip hip hooray with anybody, so I've never really been in on that.
Well, let's start one at the Dozens LWD March and then
I don't want
condemn everyone who joins in.
I was about to say, we're already wearing shirts that say white dudes on them. If we start doing something adjacent to anti-Semitism, we're gonna. Yeah. Ooh.
All right, next phrase. A stitch in time saves 9.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm actually not familiar with that phrase, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Double whiff.
Stitch in time saves 9. So it is not racist. It is a well-known phrase, but basically the idea is that is to solve a problem right away to not let it become a much larger problem. You stitch that sock now, and then you don't have to do 9 stitches later.
Oh, a stitch saves 9 stitches. I wasn't sure what the 9 was, but it's in reference to the stitches.
Yeah. So the idea is that sewing up a small rip with 1 stitch means the tear is less likely to get bigger and need more, or 9 stitches later on. Also, a stitch in time saves 9 is an anagram for this is meant as incentive.
Huh.
How interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Interesting wordplay. I like it.
Yeah. So, appreciate that.
Because it's true.
It's educational show, folks. This is educational.
Yeah, wow.
All right.
Our viewers are like, we knew that. You guys are idiots.
Yeah. I have at least 3 viewers I know of who are avid sewing people who are screaming at their...
Yeah.
All right. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Jared. I know what it means.
Jared.
It means to get things done all at once, basically. Convenient, things that are convenient to do simultaneously and doing them together. i.e., throwing a stone and killing two birds with it is.
Yeah, it'd be like achieving two goals with one solution.
And my guess is, I mean, super racist. It's super duper racist. That's my guess. Let's go on. Go ahead, AJ. I don't know.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's violent for sure, so it could go either way. Honestly, just because you're already killing birds, so obviously this could easily be substituted for humans. It's a horrible story.
Birds mean ladies here, is it?
Yeah,
right.
Like the British.
Right. Honestly, so I'm gonna say I'm saying it's offensive somehow.
It is racist. It is not. It's not offensive.
Okay. Safe.
Yeah. Good.
Except the birds. All our bird viewers are like, you sons of fucking bitches.
Tweeting angrily at each other.
Tweeting angrily right now.
Its origins are unclear, but it might come from hunting. And I remember Nick Thune, who you may or may not be familiar with. He's an actor who also has done stand-up. He talks a little bit about this phrase, kill two birds with one stone. He's like, when was there such an abundance of birds and such a shortage of stones? Like, you're gonna throw that stone? Well, we'll make sure you get at least two of them with that.
Because
Yeah.
It's a problem. Okay, yeah. So that one was sneaky because it already had kill in it, so you're thinking.
It was a little violent to begin with.
Yeah.
Possible.
All right. Master bedroom.
Wow.
AJ.
Yes.
AJ. It is offensive. Super. And I can't believe it's still used in real estate, to be honest. And it refers to the largest suite in the house, usually connected to its own bathroom. It's obviously a reference to the master's quarters, which is a horrible way to refer to any human, because it suggests that other humans are subjugated
in some way.
So like I said, I think it's actually remarkable that it's still widely used in real estate.
Yeah,
but it's offensive, I think.
Yes, it is offensive. And there's actually a lot of different ways that the word master is used in our language that is not specifically referenced to slavery era connotations. And this is possibly one of them, but because it is so inextricably tied to that now,
right?
Yeah, people are. I mean, any version of master or worse yet, master slave. Like in technology, there's the database relationships used to be referred to as a master and a slave, and now they're referred to as a primary and a backup, or
right.
Much
other
better
technology that's maybe not just super offensive.
It's super weirdly racist.
And certainly there's old medieval language. I think the term master was used. So like you said, it could have been something that is still was just simply referring to the largest bedroom in the master of the house, essentially. But like you said, it's still now it's so tied to it. I feel the same. I'm like, I just can't believe they still use it. I think it's odd to call it master bedroom.
Just call it like the big bedroom. Like nobody's gonna mind.
Yeah,
it sounds. I mean, it's less like fancy or whatever, but no, I don't think anybody cares.
The sex suite.
Oh, I was like, is that another offensive? My brain was back in game mode, and I lost my connection there.
Sorry,
but that I was like,
I was thinking of other
what is that?
Larger room.
Larger room. I see. Okay.
All right. The next phrase. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Jared knows.
Jared. I don't know.
Jared, it's a means of. Well, I mean, it's my understanding. It's like a children's rhyme. It means to like sort of distinguish between, like, choose between two things, right? That's like how it's frequently used. But also, yes, super racist. As my recollection of that, because there's like some N-word usage or something. I don't really remember exactly what the reference is, but I'm pretty sure it's racist. Yeah.
Really? I don't know.
You've heard the rhyme before, AJ? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the tail.
Right.
If he hollers, let him go.
Answer because I wasn't sure how to really define it, but I'm familiar with it and how it's used. That was a good way to describe it. Yeah, it's kind of used as a device to choose between two things. But yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it is a bit racist. Its earliest origins are unclear, but it was well known in the early days of the United States, and the version. Tiger was the N-word. That was the well-known version of that rhyme. So
that was my understanding.
You can use bubblegum in a dish.
Mm-hmm.
there's other rhymes for
just other ways.
I'm sure kids nowadays just have a random number generator on their phone.
It's
a very old-timey way to pick things. Yeah.
Now, here's what's interesting.
I'm a huge nerd.
I'd heard that rhyme used with using the N-word in Pulp Fiction, but thought that it was just because it was a racist character. I was not really aware that the rhyme itself origins were essentially that.
He was just
and that he was actually using it historically accurately.
Yes.
I thought he was just being an asshole. So the more you know. Yeah.
The more you know. We'll put that in post.
Yeah, please do in post.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
All right. Another phrase. Grandfathered.
AJ.
Go.
Grandfathered would be a phrase that's used when, or saying used if something is still being something still being allowed or honored, even though it has maybe since expired. An example would be maybe you have a really, really good rate on your cell phone because your plan is an old plan that's no longer offered, but since they're not able to change it, your plan is grandfathered in, which means you get the benefit or that those terms are honored, although it's technically been expired. I'm unfamiliar with the origins and couldn't tell you if it's racist. I would say it's not, because that just sounds like an age thing, unless you're ageist and feel like perhaps it's a reference to old people.
The thing too is that there's like sort of like the whole generational inequality thing, so it's entirely possible that that's like a thing, but I don't know for sure. And yeah, I'm familiar with the definition, but again, I mean, I would hesitate to say it. Yeah.
Oh no, is it really? God damn it!
It is racist.
Yeah,
see,
the 15th
generational Amendment was passed in 1870, giving Black American men the right to vote. A number of states instituted poll taxes and literacy tests to make voting more difficult for Black people. You know, Jim Crow and all that, and we talked about that at the top of the show with the Georgia thing that's currently going on. There was a way around an outright ban on Black voting, which had become illegal. You weren't allowed to just ban Black people from voting anymore. So they passed a law known as the Grandfather Clause, saying if you could vote before the 15th Amendment was passed, or were the lineal descendant of a voter, you didn't have to take the tests or pay the poll tax. In other words, if you were white, you were grandfathered in.
If you were white, you were fine.
Jesus.
Allowed to vote.
Because that way you don't have to worry about doing the literacy tests on anybody except for Black people.
Exactly. So, yeah. So white idiots and white poor people could still vote. You know, because they didn't have to.
But everybody else was,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was probably what it was some sort of generational inequality thing.
Shit you didn't learn in your U.S. history class.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
Our nation sucks.
Yeah. You don't really learn that for whatever reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
It just makes America look bad. And here's the thing. I think you can know portions of our history that are bad, and we learn about them and get better from them. Like, you don't have to hate America, and you don't have to hate the people who founded America or any of that. You can just learn that we did things wrong, poorly, which we did. Lots of things.
Be
better going forward.
Yeah, and still stuff we got to fix now. Stuff that has that is rippled.
Currently happening.
It's currently happening. Yeah, I think that's the thing that people miss the most. They're like, well, it's not a thing anymore. I'm like, well, it is.
Well,
we still suffer. We still suffer from the out.
Right now,
yeah, we still suffer from the ripple effect of the things we used to do, and we have to be aware of those things we used to do to not do those things now.
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah. Or there are those that are openly doing the things they were doing then now as well, because they're in fact freaking racists.
Because they're just super racist.
Because they're super openly racist.
They're like great grandfathering people in.
Yeah.
Just how many generations back they have to skip.
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how many generations of green margarine's family's racist. I'm guessing all of them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing all of them.
Yeah.
All of them is the answer. Yeah.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
AJ. Praise means that there's always something positive to take away, even something sad. So I'm assuming the origin has something to do with clouds, like a rain cloud, which denotes bad, but there's a silver lining, like the sun is coming out, so it'd be like you can find the silver lining means you're looking for the positive in that situation. I would say it's not racist. It feels
Not
like it's
racist,
just a reference to clouds, but I've been wrong every time I've said that.
Yeah, true.
So
except for the one time with the bus.
It's super
Everything else.
racist. No, it's not.
It's
Actually. This one is not. This one is just a regular.
I was gonna quit if it was.
Leaves call.
Like everything's racist. There's a silver lining to every cloud was the form of the proverb that was usually expressed in the Victorian era. The currently used every cloud has a silver lining first appeared in another literary review in 1849. So it's an old-timey phrase, but yes, it means exactly what you said. You know, even when bad things happen, you can maybe see a positive thing that comes from it.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, so there's always an opportunity, you know.
Optimism.
Something. Optimism. I'm not for it, really. It's not my thing. It's not my bag.
Principally against it.
I don't think it works out in reality.
Yeah, I get it. I get
Every
the need to
cloud
lean
has
on
a
it.
silver lining, huh? Is that silver lining also raining?
Because my guess is yes.
All right, another phrase. Cakewalk.
Jared. It means something's easy. If something's a cakewalk, then it's like easy to complete.
I've heard. Yeah, I'm familiar with the definition, but that's the extent of what I know. What Jared just said.
Not racist. Could totally be racist, I guess, given everything else that's been racist, but not racist.
I'm gonna say it is. I'm gonna say it's super racist.
AJ's going with super racist.
Contention.
Yeah, because I've been wrong so many times.
That it is super racist. Yeah. Owners held contests in which enslaved people competed for a cake.
Jesus.
They would
holy shit
dance. Later popularized during minstrel shows, characterized by a high leg prance with a backward tilt of the head, shoulders, and upper torso. Basically, they were pretending to be white people. That was the whole idea. Yeah. The cake.
That's horrendous.
It is. Yeah.
That's awful. So horrendous. We used to do that. We had school events where they'd like have people walk around in a circle on a clock, and when the song stopped, if you were on a certain thing, they'd spin a spinner and give you a piece of cake, and that was called a cakewalk.
Yep.
Is that where that comes from?
That's where that comes from.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
According to my research.
No,
I did my research, guys.
You should read.
Jeez. Now, I use piece of cake a lot, and I think I still can use that. I think that's different, right?
I don't have piece of cake on here.
Is it derivative?
All right. Shit, it might be derivative. I'll have to find out because I actually use that one. I don't use cake walk per se, but I do say piece of cake.
Show,
that's a piece
let
of
us
cake.
Know about piece of cake.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to look into that.
Keep us updated.
Next phrase. Paddy Wagon.
AJ. So I'm going to take a guess. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's a reference to a police vehicle to transport convicts, prisoners, or people that are under arrest. I'm throwing out a guess, and I'm guessing it's derogatory towards Irish folk, and they're referring to them as paddies, and when they round them up. So it could be that, but I don't know. I do know that it's a reference to cops, which means it's definitely racist. So I'm going to say it's racist.
Yeah, bar none. Everything that is related.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. So.
The paddy part's a guess for me, but they're definitely racist. I'm sure of it.
AJ is 100% correct. Front to back correct. The term paddy wagon goes back to the 19th century when Irish immigrants, refugees from the Great Famine, flooded the cities of the northeastern U.S. The history of pejoratives for the Irish is colorful and racist. There were all kinds of epithets aimed at the Irish. This is one of them because they would get drunk and fight and get picked up. So they started calling those particular vehicles paddy wagons.
Huh. I hadn't even heard that terminology.
Oh. Get the paddy wagon.
Get the paddy wagon.
I know. I'm not familiar.
Well, John Mulaney.
Yep. All right.
Get the paddy wagon.
Snug as a bug in a rug.
I mean,
AJ.
I know what that. Yeah.
Oh.
AJ.
No, go ahead. Yeah, AJ did the buzzer. I didn't do the buzzer thing properly.
So, as far as what it means to be very cozy, tucked in a bed. The reference, of course, as a bug in a rug. If you're a tiny bug underneath a rug, you are very snug. So that's what I'm gonna say. I did, and I'm gonna say, which isn't canceled, guys. Okay, no. Which I'm gonna say is not racist.
Yeah, not racist for me as well. I don't think it is.
Just cute.
This one is non-offensive. Yeah, non-offensive.
Yes.
It's thought to allude to a moth larva happily feeding inside a rolled-up carpet. First recorded in 1769. Probably owes its long life to the rhyme.
Yeah, I mean, if it's fun to say, I think you get a lot more mileage out of sayings if they're also fun to say.
Yeah.
And that is very much fun to say.
It's a bug in a rug. It is fun to say.
Yeah,
1769. That's a long time ago for us Americans.
Yeah,
sure is.
Most certainly.
You know, that predates the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, our country.
Yeah. All right, next phrase. Open the kimono.
Well,
not familiar with it, actually.
I don't know what that means, but
I know what a kimono is.
I know what a kimono is.
But
and if there's a phrase relating to someone's race, I'm gonna guess.
So I have heard this term multiple times. In fact, I'm not going to point out the most recent time that I heard it, but basically, in an example, a company might be doing mergers and acquisitions, and they sit down with the other company, and they have their books, like their accounting books and their kind of stuff.
Oh,
and they're like, okay, it's time for you to open your kimono, and they hand over the account.
Reveal your secrets, basically.
Yeah,
exactly correct.
And why are we choosing Japanese clothing?
Well, because maybe samurai hid weapons, and so if you open your I don't know.
No, it's racist.
Yeah.
It's
that's what I thought.
Okay, sounds racist.
Yeah.
I was like, we could find a way it would work, but I think it's just racist. Honestly.
It amplifies a stereotypical view of Japanese culture. You know, both geishas and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's frequently used in business. I've heard it more than once, and the last time I heard it, I was like, I mean, he like apologized before he said it, and then I was like, yeah, you
that's the worst, isn't it?
Yeah, why don't you just say it? Why don't you just not pass? Just pass on saying it.
You shouldn't say that. And I get that we're both white guys, and that gives you this like ticket. You got
it doesn't. Yeah, why?
It's just us in the room, so everything's okay.
Yeah, it's just not true. Why do people treat it that way? It's happened to me so many times where it's just like I'm sitting solo.
It's locker room talk.
I just don't understand. I'm like, why do you assume that I'm okay with this? This is not okay with me.
White.
Yeah, I just don't get it at all.
I can pat myself on the back for openly saying I was not okay with it, but as far as I went with it, I didn't get him fired.
But I was gonna make a small thing that isn't that the funniest thing whenever they preface it with like, I know this is bad. It's like, oh, cool. So then definitely say it in a work setting. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like, just choose the words.
Yeah.
Or like when Senate Republicans come out and they're just going to be like, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but something racist. And you're like, yeah, you should get in trouble for that. Like any of those.
All right. Another phrase. Ready? Sold down the river.
AJ. Betrayed is what it's generally referred to. You sold me down the river. You betrayed me. You sold out. You turned your back on our plan. I'm gonna say it's probably got racist origins, only because it's probably referring to selling a human being.
Yeah, that's my guess as well.
But that's a guess.
That is exactly on the nose. It is a reference to slaves being literally sold down the river. The Mississippi or the Ohio River specifically, from a slave trading marketplace to another shore.
A phrase used so much. So many of these are used so fucking much.
Then transported to a plantation. So this is people being sold literally down the river from the north to the south. Super racist. And that's actually where thrown under the bus, it was sort of cobbled in with that in some of my research. They're like, you can say thrown under the bus, that one's fine, as opposed to sold down the river, which is racist.
Yeah. Well, now I'm just imagining like two white suburban soccer moms like chatting, and like one of them throwing that phrase out, and you're just thinking like, God damn it, you're right. People just use this phrase. The worst people.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be using that phrase. I'm never going to use that phrase again.
I have the last one. Ready?
Final. Ready.
Super.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You don't know what
I've
it
heard
means?
I don't know what it means.
I've heard it. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it.
Okay, so what it means is,
yeah.
If you already have a bird in your hand,
right,
it's better to take that thing that you already have than go searching for what might be nothing.
Right.
It might be
birds
in the bush,
yeah,
out there amongst the bush, but you're better off keeping this one.
It's like a reference to in Australia. Does it originate in Australia? It sounds like. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've heard it before. I just didn't really understand. I didn't really know what it meant particularly without context.
And it is non-offensive. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush is one of the oldest and best known proverbs in English, according to my documentation.
I mean, I know what it is. I've heard it.
I
don't know what
the racist ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, goodness.
I say all of those all the time. Don't sell me down the river on this, but came into language in the 15th century, probably imported from other cultures. The proverb warns against taking unnecessary risks. It's better to keep what you have than to risk getting more and ending up with nothing. It's a good Vegas.
It's like anti-gambling, basically.
Yeah.
Sounds boring to me.
Yeah.
Boring.
Live your life, bird in the bush.
Tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to that bush.
Yeah.
Checking that bush out for birds.
Double or
Gonna
nothing.
get some birds. Double down on my birds in the bush.
All right.
As many bushes as I can in Vegas.
So, hey, that's the Offensive Sayings episode. Thanks, everybody, for
I like that.
showing up and having a listen. And, hey, if you want to stop using any of those and maybe finding some alternatives for your nomenclature that don't have racist origins, feel free to do that.
I got a challenge. Send me something similar to Sold Down the River that's not that, other than Under the Bus, because I don't like going under the bus either. I want something totally new. I want that phrase revamped. Someone invent that for me.
All right.
Throwing that out there.
We're here every other Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can like us over there on Facebook. You can like this video as well. And then you can go over and follow us on Twitter, where we are hysterical all day, every day. Thanks again for showing up, everybody. Have a good night.
Later.